Welcome to Opti TV Presents, where we showcase the personalities of the Opti class and the drivers of the sport. Today we have with us Sigrid Beckmann, Vice President of the Americas for the International Optimist Class. Sigrid, thank you so much for joining us and spending the time chatting with me to, learn a little bit about what you do and what the International Class as an organization does for Opti sailors worldwide. How are you doing today, Sigrid?
Great, Alberto. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. It's not often that we have this chance to reach out and talk to so many people. And I think this is a very good initiative. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this. I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we're glad to have you. And, I have known you for some years now as you, were formerly involved with the Coconut Grove Sailing Club in Miami, where I work now. And now you're working as the Vice President of the Americas for the International Opti Class. So, first of all, what is the International Opti Class? What are they dedicated to?
Yes, I've been very lucky to be involved with IODA now for 2 years. I was invited to take part of the XCOM. As you all know, the executive committee is formed by a president, Kevin Whitcraft, and then we are 3 vice presidents. One for Europe, who is Carmen Casco. Then I am for North and South America. Then we have AJ, who's for Africa, Asia, and Oceania. And then we have a treasurer, Bala. We have Olive, our technical committee chair. And then we have Ricardo Navarro, who is the go-to man for everything, regattas and racing and rules. He's really a very knowledgeable person. So it's this team, and we are supported by 2 fantastic ladies, Fiona, who lives in Canada. You all know Fiona. She also knows everything and everyone. So she's the go-to person for the class. She's the class secretary. And then we have fantastic Susan, who lives in Paradise in Antigua. And she is the mastermind of all events, all the rules, all the conditions, everything there is to know about racing and the event and planning. It's Susan. So we're very lucky to have a very tight group. We work very well, and I'm very happy to say that it's been 2 years that have gone like nothing. There's so much to do. We obviously meet once a year during the AGM, which takes place at the same time as the World Championship, wherever it is. And then we meet once a year, mid-year in January, in somewhere that it's a good concentric place for everyone. Some live in Thailand, some live in India. Ricardo is in Brazil. So it's a place where we can converge and have a meeting where we work for 4 days from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there's no partying, there's no, it's hard work, but it's very nice because we accomplish a lot and we work well together. So it's been a very nice 2 years.
Now, is there, between the different members of the executive committee in IODA, is there day-to-day work? Are you guys communicating constantly, or is it a little bit more sparse?
No, we do communicate constantly. We have a monthly call where we join in, and then there's an agenda, obviously, and then once a month we go through everything that's happening. No, Fiona is very good in keeping tabs on the agenda and keeping us on that. And of course, if there's anything else, we get the WhatsApp, like, this is happening, please let's schedule something. And then we have like inside networking, like for example, if there's things going on in the Americas, then I just go between Susan and Ricardo and me, or just Fiona and me. And then if we involve Kevin as president for other things. So we all work together, but we are in constant communication, either by phone, by meetings, and then email is it's a big thing.
Do you find it difficult sometimes to manage such a large class?
It is massive, and I was quite surprised when I first started working with the XCOM because it's so much. But I have to say that the class is super organized, and they've been super organized for years. If you see the manuals they have conditions and they have everything written down. So it doesn't matter if I am new or we change or somebody's not there, everything is written down. So it's very easy to keep up. And this is a labor of years. I mean, amazing how they have been able to put everything in writing. And it's funny because there's manuals for everything. But it's very easy because if you have a question or you have a problem, it's there in black and white. There's no way around it. It's very organized.
Well, I think that with 60 plus years of the class existing, there's enough experience accumulated where like you said, a newcomer can come in and just plug right in. What's next for the Opti class? With the 2020 class rules are out and the racing rules of sailing about to undergo a 4-year new edition. Is there anything that the IODA is working on?
Well, it's always constant, right? And it's big. So every region or every country has its own things, and some people are more interested in doing other things. What this particular group, the current XCOM, is trying to do is being more inclusive, right? We want more countries to join in and more kids from countries that we seldom see in the events. We want more girls because there's a disparity, and all this also comes from world sailing. There's a big push to have equality in genders during competition, and that's big. So we want more girls. So how do we push to have more girls? So that comes having more coaches that are women, and then more measurers and more judges and more like that. So they bring more girls in, right? So that, for example, that's one big part. We want to be more inclusive, right? That small countries that might not have that many resources are able to also join and get to a certain level where they can travel around. I know it's hard because economics always plays a big part of it, but we're really trying to be more inclusive and not just, the more resourceful countries have obviously more kids sailing, but to be able to support those little small countries like the Caribbean is full of opportunities and full of children, and a lot of them sail, but there's not enough boats, or there's not enough coaches, or there's not enough money to travel to, let's say, the worlds. So what we're trying to do is do more local events and do more coaching of coaches and coaching of kids and coaching of judges in small clusters. So that way you can have very good events with a lot of kids that don't have to fly to the other side of the world and spend the money they don't have. If they can sail against each other and have little events, the Caribbean event, and then what happens, and it's lovely to see, is that they start meeting each other and then they invite each other to their clubs and their homes. So it's very cheap to do events like that. And I know in Miami you're doing a lot of that. You host kids, you lend them boats, you keep them in houses. So everything is very cost effective for people to do it. And then you can have very nice events without having to spend an arm and a leg to go to another continent, dragging your dagger board and your sails, right?
I think that's a lot of parents and sailors watching this are going to relate to that because I don't know how many times I've had to try and help to figure out how exactly to get an Opti mast and blades into the smallest package possible for planes. But I'm
tricks.
Yeah, tricks of the trade. But I think it's interesting that the class is making a push for this because sailing definitely needs it, especially the part about getting more girls involved. And I say getting more girls involved because, like you said, it's not just a matter of getting girls to sail, right? It's a matter of getting the figures that make sailing happen be a little bit more, have a little bit more parity there, because girls will look, in my experience at least, girls will look at, the adults around them, and if they see, more women involved, then they are more likely to be involved. Nobody wants to be, no girl wants to be in an all boys party. Now, tell me, with these initiatives, is the class finding success in getting more girls to participate?
Obviously, we would like to go faster and see change sooner, but there are a lot of initiatives, and I think we are slowly getting there. It needs to have unfortunately last year in Antigua, we had actually a town hall meeting just dedicated to girls on the water. It's an initiative with sailors from all over the world that were there for the Worlds, plus a lot of measures, judges, people that are really interested in making this happen. And we were beginning to push it, but then of course then the virus came, and then we've been locked down and we haven't been able to do much more about that. But there is a big push to do it, trying to make it more accessible for girls. Again, it's a push from up down and down up, right? If you see more judges and you see more measurers and you see more coaches, maybe some girls would be more interested in sailing if there were more women coaches on the water.
I agree. I definitely agree.
So we're trying. It's just, again, we got blindsided by the virus, and so this is a complicated year, but we'll try to make it happen and move a bit faster.
Well, in regards to the virus, obviously the entire world's affected, and sailing has effectively, sailing as a whole has been ground down to a halt. But already that at the time of this recording, in May, there are teams getting back out on the water. There are countries getting back out on the water. Already there's that message is getting out there that there's still much sailing to be done. The water's still out there. So if the viewers are not familiar, the IODA also has put out an initiative for sustainability education. So talking a little bit about kids getting back out on the water, is the class thinking about maybe not to say it in a opportunistic way, but capitalizing on the lack of regattas as a way to kind of promote these initiatives, not just the girls' participation, but also the education initiative?
Well, I'm glad you bring this up. Yes, that's one of the other big pushes for the class now. And again, we're very lucky that World Sailing is also doing this, because we're running with them side by side. I personally think that it's critical that the young generation learns about sustainability and understands. And if we plant that seed now, it will help us in the future. And what better place to do it than the Opti class? So we're very, very grateful that World Sailing is supporting this and inviting us to co-brand this push for the Optis. We have a very good technical start. I don't know if you had a chance to see the manual that's up already. It's all the themes you can imagine, and exercises and manuals for the coaches, and little jobs for the kids to do to put it in practice. And now it's going to be translated to other languages as well. So we just don't have it in English. It will be in Spanish, in French, and and that's fantastic, because then the reach is vast. We will be able to reach out the whole optimist community. And it's not just optimists, right? Because if your kids in the optimist get hooked on this and understand, they can share that with their friends at school or their neighbors or their friends back home. And that's the idea, that it starts with the sailing, because the kids are in so close contact with the water and the nature, that then they go back and say, hey, do you want to do this with me? And it's building things, and it's answering quizzes, and it's learning. So it's pretty attractive. I think they have done a fantastic job. And we've also been blessed by joining with Matias Catizano, the Optimist photo master. So a lot of the material includes photographs that Matias has been sharing. So kids get hooked. I mean, I think it's a really, really good initiative, and we're hoping to get it out more. Right now, it's the moment to push it and make it knowledgeable. Some people have not heard about it yet, so we're trying to make it very visible and make a lot of noise, because I think it's wonderful. If you want to check it out, I don't know if everybody wants the address. I can share with you, but it's in the optiworld page. There's a big tab for sustainability, and everything is there. And we're trying to also send blast by Facebook and Instagram with the links, so it's easy to go. And again, once it goes to other languages, it's going to be easier for people from all over to join it. You'll see more about it. And then, of course, next year we have the race around the world, again, sponsored big time by 11th Hour, which will push more about sustainability. Okay, it's the big boats, it's the big people. But again, kids tend to watch that and want to be part of it. So I think it's going to gain steam, and you will see more and more about sustainability in clubs, in races, in regattas. And the kids will be talking more about it, I hope.
What can local sailing programs and Yacht programs do to promote this sustainability? What would you recommend to coaches and programs to help push this?
Well, I think it's some people say baby steps. Some other people think the problem with plastic pollution or the climate change is not it's so big that we cannot afford baby steps, but I think we should, to make them firm, right? So if you are in your club and you can start by doing the simple stuff and showing little kids to recycle and first of all refuse. If you can avoid buying the bottle, then you already eliminate the rest, right? You're right there. Right. So if clubs could get more serious about banning water bottles and about having recycling bins and showing kids alternatives. What you cannot do is just say, oh, you cannot buy water because the plastic bottle. Yeah, but the kid needs to drink water. So just by banning the bottle, you're not fixing the problem. You need to give them opportunities to say, okay, we have a water fountain, or bring your own, or, it's alternatives. We just need to start changing the habits slowly. So it's baby steps, but firm baby steps.
I agree. I think that especially with the age of optimist sailors, that what we should be aiming for is to teach them the foundations of, these this mode of thinking. And, for anybody who's interested in learning more about the sustainability initiative, I'll be putting up a link up here on the screen. Sigrid, to kind of change gears here a little bit, the International Class is doing a lot of good work with, participation initiatives and sustainability initiatives. I think that there's a disconnect between some of the sailors, especially here in the U.S., they're not very familiar with what the International Class is for. Can you tell us a little bit about, what the class organizes throughout the year and the quote-unquote the international racing circuit?
This, again, is a very complicated year, right? And there's so many unknowns. For the kids that are back home, their dream is to go out and to go far away places and do these exotic regattas in exotic places. And again, some kids in countries that cannot go that far need to focus on local and continental events probably, and then try to bring it up. Now with the virus, of course, we are in a new space and time where it's very hard to organize and predict what's going to happen. We cannot have an event if not everyone can come, right? And I think that's a very important thing. Again, we're trying to be inclusive and not saying, well, I can drive to Garda, then it's the world's. It's, again, on charter territory here, we never thought this would happen. I mean, we met in January, the XCOM, and we were making all these plans about doing new things. And then this came. So now we're just trying to figure out if we can meet and where we can meet. It looks like a lot of the events are trying to be pushed to the end of the year. It depends on the place. What happens with the Optimist class, and I think it's important that people understand, is that we as executive committee, we don't decide where these events take place and where do we go, and if this gets canceled or we cancel and then we do it here. This is not us, it's the members. We are very limited as an ExCom on what we can do. It's the members who decide the conditions or change the conditions. It's the members who decide where it is. So if Italy comes and says, can we move to next year? It's not us who decide if this happens. We need to bring it down to the membership and say, all the countries that are members of IODA saying, we have this, what do you want to do? Do you want to give Italy another chance? Do you want to move over? Do you want to cancel? When you're voting for these things, you also need to be very transparent and very fair. You cannot afford to have a vote or to have a meeting where these things are decided when there's not total transparency and an organization of how things are done. Because, then it becomes, some people are very invested, some countries or clubs have invested a lot of time and money to set these championships. So it's not easy to just, let's move on, no? You have to let them do their thing and then bring it to the membership, and then the membership will decide.
I think that's a great piece of information. Well, not only about what's going on behind the scenes, kind of like, and what what the class is thinking, but also that member countries have an opportunity to have a voice in the process. I think you just touched on the reality of the Opti class, and what makes it unique for for better or worse is that mix of the sailor and the adults in the room, the coaches, the parents, the organizers, that make it such a complicated but so fascinating little class. I think that with all of this, the right calls have been made by postponing or moving things around, because the health of the sailors is first and foremost. Organizing a regatta, especially an international one, is difficult. There's a lot of moving pieces, but if you can't even be fair enough to say that everybody can come and we can have good racing for everybody, then I think that it's just not worth it at this time. So hopefully for everybody watching, they realize that there are good people that are trying to make it happen as healthily as possible, as safely as possible, and eventually it'll come back.
We're trying to get there, right? We really are looking into making it happen, and a lot of people involved. This is not taken slightly, no. I think it's just taking it slowly, and as you said from the beginning, and I share your sentiments 100%. This is even when the Opti class has become like very professional and very driven and very. It's still a kids class, and it should be fun, and it should be inclusive, and it should be somewhere where the kids learn and have fun and feel safe and make friends. It's not just about being the world champion. They all want to be world champions. But,
yes, they do.
but it's more important to make it what it is, an opportunity to travel, to make friends, to learn, to grow as a person, not just as a sailor. And I think sometimes we miss this. Again, we're running so fast and we're going so deep and fast that we're just missing the bigger picture, right? And this is probably a very good opportunity to go back to that and then start again with the local, and where the lower, the base of the pyramid is, the kids that start, the kids that are so excited and they're dying to get a new boat and dying to go to their first regatta outside of their lake or their little bay. And we have to do a lot of work there, and the other stuff will come on its own. I mean, the pyramid drives you, right? And all the kids, their maximum is to go to Worlds or go to the Olympics, and everything is like that. But we need to go back to the base and strengthen and broaden the base and have more children down there with the basics, with having fun and learning the ropes and learning about not only the boat and the waves and the wind and the temperature and the current, but friendships and teamwork, and then themselves resilience and hard work and responsibility and organization. It keeps building, right? We have to go deep there. And I think this is the great opportunity. The rest will come. The worlds will come. The North Americans will come. The big events will come. But we have to go back to that base and build up.
I most definitely agree. I think that this, aside from all of the anguish that it's caused, I think for the Opti class, it can stand to be, the moment to, bring the class together because, I mean, I've already seen it, here in Miami where there's no more rushing around, because you just can't. People are starting to reconnect with the water, reconnect with sailing, and the kids, it's been amazing to see that the kids just want to not, they haven't been asking to go racing. They've just been asking to go sailing, and I think it's been amazing to see that because I thought that they'd be like, well, when's the next regatta? When can we get back to it? When can we do that? No, they've just been asking about when can we go sailing. That to me, gives me a lot of hope, and I hope that everybody watching and listening to you sees it as well. That it's not just coaches or people at the local level. That sentiment is present, all the way up to the executive committee of the international class. So I actually think our time is coming to a close. So Sigrid, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me for a little while. Before we go, is there anything that you would say to those kids that are watching right now that wishing that they could sail, but maybe don't have the chance to yet?
Just hang in there. This is just a phase, and it shall pass. I know it's stressful, and as you said it, and I love what you just said. Kids just want to be out on the water and having fun and seeing their friends and their coaches again, and it will come. This will pass. Just hang in there, and it will come, and it will be more sweet when you're out there and enjoying it again. Maybe we have taken many things for granted, and once we go back, we will just really seize the day and seize the seas and the lakes and the friends and hug your friends. We will hug each other again very soon. You will see, but just hang in there and everything will be fine. We're optimists, right?
Wow, so, I couldn't have said that better.
We'll get there. It's just a bump in the road, but it will make us stronger and it will make us better. Well, I know it sounds, but it will happen.
Well, kids are just like that. They'll hear that, thing over and over until they're just a little older, a little wiser, and they say, "Oh wow, mom was right, or that lady was right." Sigrid, thanks again, and I hope that you and your family stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you around the racing circuit soon enough.
The same. My kids are also dying to go out to the water. I am dying to go out to the water. We're all there, but thank you for the opportunity. And I also wish and hope that everybody out there is safe and together with family and friends, that everybody is fine, healthy, and we will see each other out there. If there is anything I can do to help, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm very easy to find. You know where I am. So I'm able to help with questions, with ideas, with other things you want to talk about. I am very open because, again, this is about you guys, not about the class and an ethereal thing. The class is you, the kids, the parents, the coaches, the judges, the measures. We're a big family, and all of us are important in the family. So please let me know if I can be of any help. I'm happy and open for anything that I might be able to do.
Thank you, Sigrid. We hope to have you back.
Great job, Alberto. This is awesome. Congratulations. This is a very good thing.
Thank you.